Honestly, I feel like I'm getting spoiled because the last few movies that I've gotten a chance to see have all been bangers, and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is no different. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is a brand new mystery, thriller, dark comedy, although I think it probably just fits into the horror genre. Now, over the last few years, I've learned that horror is one of the most broad and general movie genres to ever exist. So I think if you were going to try to put this film into one category, that is probably the one it should be in. And right off the bat, I gotta say, this movie is awesome. It is such a fresh take on the murder mystery film, and they knocked it out of the park. The unfortunate thing is that I actually can't really say too much about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies without giving away a lot of what makes it so good. But there are a few things I did want to touch on that help make it so special. The first is the fact that they are simply asking one question in making this film. What would a movie like Scream look like if it took place in 2022? Now, Scream is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and it laid the groundwork for so many other movies in its genre. But Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is taking the tongue-in-cheek style of a film like Scream and absolutely running with the present day version of what they think it would look like. The murder mystery atmosphere in this film is fantastic, mostly because they make the creative choice to essentially film the entire movie in complete darkness. The movie basically takes place in this one character's mansion, but essentially for the entire movie the lights are off. They absolutely nailed the unsettling atmosphere in this movie. There is so much suspense. There are so many great sequences where you do not know where things are headed, and that is one thing this movie does really, really well. You really don't know where this story is going, but it is also really hard to not get invested, wanting to follow along and sort of see if you can figure out what's really happening. I also wanted to say the cast in this film is fantastic. While I am not too familiar with anyone in this movie aside from Amanda Stenberg and Pete Davidson, the cast meshes really, really well. Fantastic casting in a film like this, a great ensemble in this movie. There's so much chemistry, they're playing off of each other really well, and it makes this such an enjoyable journey to see through to the end. They deserve so much praise for the casting job they did for this film and the incredible job that the actors did making this movie as much fun as it was. Now, if you are a horror fan, I think this movie is going to be right up your alley. There are some pretty good jump scares, just a lot of really good tension. But I also wanted to note that if you're somebody that doesn't necessarily like that genre or thinks they do not like that genre, this film is still worth seeing. There are some good jump scares, but that's not the point of the movie. It's definitely unsettling. There are definitely some moments that you might actually be scared, but this film is so well made and it's so enjoyable that I certainly hope that anybody who sees the word horror and immediately decides they don't want to see a movie like this, give this one a chance because it is so worth it. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies takes a genre that has existed for so long and completely flips it on its head. I promise you, you do not know where this film is headed. It is worth it every step of the way. This is such a fun movie, and it is further proof that original films do exist. They can still be made. I was so impressed watching this movie, thinking I knew where things were going and always being surprised about what was happening. It was such an enjoyable film. I highly recommend it, and trust me, this is one that you do not want to miss.